Hello, mathematical fifth grade thinkers. Today, our learning goal, I will be able to use ratios to describe size changes. So, as we look at our vocab words for the day, size change factor, and scale all have to do with changing an object's size. And so we would either end up with an enlargement of the original object, so obviously larger, there's the word there, large, or a reduction, or a smaller object, because it's been reduced, so it's smaller. So when we have an enlargement or a reduction of an object, we can use scale, scale factor, and size change factor, which are ratios that tell us how much it's been enlarged or reduced. So here we'll talk more about that. All right, so let's say we have a little Hot Wheels car here, and it's 1 inch tall, it's 4 inches long. And then there's another model that's a little bigger. It's 2 inches tall and 8 inches long. So if we're looking at the size change factor, or the ratio from the smaller object to the larger object, the original to the enlarged, then we have our enlarged, let me get out my pen, the enlarged length is the larger object's length, which is 8. And the original length is 4 inches. So we have a size change factor, or a ratio of 8 to 4, which could be simplified to a 2 to 1 size change factor. And it can be represented multiple ways. We could also say, if we're looking at our scale factor, this would be a factor of 2, and then we put an x there, meaning 2 times. It's 2 times the original object. And then the scale would be 1 to 2, because for every inch on this car, there are 2 inches on this car. And we need to be careful that we don't look and say, okay, 4 inches here and 8 inches here, so it's a difference of 4 inches, so then the scale factor must be 4. No, because we're looking at what we've multiplied by, so height and length, or height and width, to get the new object here. So if we had said it was a difference of 4, so the scale factor is 4, well, that doesn't work for the height, because 1 plus 4 is not 2. So we're looking at what number did we multiply by? 2. 1 to 2. 2 to 1 ratio. All right? Now, if we start off with a larger object and we end up with a reduction, or a smaller object, then it's very similar. But now for our size change factor, we have our reduced length. So that's 4 over our original length. So that is 8. So the original length in this case is still 8. Or the original length is on the bottom. And then you'll either have your reduced or enlarged length on the top. And now this simplifies to 1/2. And that's a fraction because it's gotten smaller. So we've multiplied it by a fraction to get a smaller image. So now the scale factor could be written as 1/2 x, or 0.5 times. So that's what we'd have to multiply by. These times 0.5 would give you 4 inches here and 1 inch here. Or a scale factor of 1 to 1/2, but we can't leave that in the ratio, so we could multiply both by 2. So a 2 to 1 ratio. Now, if we look at a story problem here, this park has a scale factor of 1 to 200, which means that each unit on the map represents 200 yards. So how long would the actual park be? Well, we need to set up our ratio of the scale amount to the actual amount. So the scale amount is, well, we know it's a 1 to 200 ratio. And then our scale amount here, we need to count for the length. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's our scale. And our actual would be, well, we can look here. We could do cross products. And we were wondering what the length is. We'll write an L. You could use cross products, or you could see that 1 times 9 gives you 9. So 200 times 9 gives you 1800. So the length of the whole park is 1800 yards. Now well, let me just say, before you try this one on your own, I've changed a couple things. The scale factor is now 1 to 250. So scale is 1 to 250. And now you're trying to find how wide the park is. So what would this distance be in real life? So go ahead and find that. All right, so you should have set up this other part of the ratio where the width is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 units tall or wide. So then if we use cross products, we could figure out what W is, or we could see that 1 times 8 is 8. So then 250 times 8 would be, let's see, 250 times 8, 2,000. So the actual width is 2,000 yards. All right, so now as you practice and work on the assessment and as you work through this section, hopefully you can say, I can use ratios to describe size changes. Good luck.